Yalla, bismillah. Are we ready? Okay. I don't want to see who's joining in, so it allows me to say hello to the people. We good? All right, guys. Welcome to another live on Saturday. Guys, we go live on Saturdays. It allows us to answer any questions you might have. It allows you to ask me questions live as well. So everybody who's live right now with us on Instagram, hello, welcome. Everybody who's going to be joining us on YouTube and on Facebook, also welcome. And I'm happy to answer questions live, generally, guys speaking, just to let you guys know. So what you guys can do is you can ask me questions live on YouTube. I will generally see your questions and I'll be able to answer. You can also ask me questions on on Instagram. Hey, it's Gas. Hi, how are you? So I'm just gonna put my phone right here so that I can actually interact with you guys as well. Iron, thank you. Good to see you as well. How minimum investment one must do in property? Bilal Kainth. That's a good question. Look, we always say, like, the lowest amount that somebody ever had who started out with us was about $50,000, okay? But $50,000, they didn't buy a full property. Actually, $50,000, which equals to about $150 or odd $1,000. I think about 4 or 5 years ago, you could have bought a studio in international city. So you could have actually bought a full property with about $150,000, right? But with $50,000 today, you can start out on the property ladder as long as you've got more income coming in. So, you could make some down payments with $50,000, and then you've got, let's say, every year another $50,000 that are coming into you as savings. Then you can start, you can put those away as well. Okay. So everybody who's coming in, joining in, welcome. Everybody who's got, who's with me on YouTube, please feel free, ask any question that you might. I can see there's a few people watching on YouTube. There's a few on Instagram. Hey guys, you got questions? Just put it down over there. I'm more than happy to answer. Okay. Welcome everybody who's joining. Tamanna, Tayyib, Ahmed, Abhi, Bilal. Hey, it's Gas. Bilal, I hope I answered your question. Ayan, Sagar, Bhatia, Rohena, Ami, Dr. Ray, Hamza, Sanjay, Mahmood. Okay, so question. Somebody's got a question. Thank you. Okay, I appreciate you got the answer. Any other questions, just shoot them across. Okay, Sanjay asks, hello, I am into real estate from India and I want to work in Dubai. So what should I do? I can say this to you, okay? So if you're already doing real estate in India, that's kind of like a first good plus. What does that tell me? That tells me, like, you know what square footage means, you know how to generally speak to a client, you know how to actually handle a client, so on and so forth. If you're coming into the Dubai market, what I would advise is kind of don't think about money in the beginning. You've got to come in thinking about how can I establish myself as a career in Dubai. So you would go to one of the mid-larger companies that have a decent training program in place. Then, the thing is, there's nothing wrong with going to a small company as long as they understand you and you understand them. And every big company was one day a small company. They started out somewhere. But today, if you're coming in, go to a mid to a large company, interview with them and ask them questions. Look, I'll be honest with you. The questions shouldn't be about how many leads can you give me, how much money can I make. It should mainly be about what's the training program like, what's the culture like, can I learn from others over here, right? And so come over here, start with them. Make sure the company is willing to give you a residence visa, because if you don't have a residence visa, you're going to be in a tough situation. Make sure the company is willing to give you a residence visa without you doing any deals, because a lot of times they'll be turning around the tables on you and say, hey, if you do some deals, we'll be able to give you a residence visa. And that's kind of like illegal and not the correct way. And so you're going to struggle. The first focus should be to get your driving license, get a car, and start learning the ABCs of real estate. It's not very complicated. I imagine if I went to India working in real estate, it would take me about 6 months to understand what's what, who is who, where the money is, who should I be working with, who should I be making friends with, so on and so forth. And of course, the first 3 months, you're going to have to do that research for yourself. Imran Chaudhry asks me, Salam, what's happening with damage to property due to weather? Seems risky investing now that weather is getting worse. Is it cloud seeding? When will draining system be installed? Okay, good question. Imran, what's happening with damage to property due to weather? Well, people are going about and fixing it. Emaar, of course, we know as one developer announced it to their communities that if you've had any rain-associated damage, they will fix it, inspect it for free. We've got tenants living in Emaar properties, and we already know that they are already being taken care of. So Emaar's already sent teams out to look at it. That's number one. Number two, you said, seems risky during the weather with the way the weather is getting worse. Look, the weather, the rain, the wind, or earthquakes in Japan, it's part of life. Like, we can't really say it's going to go away. I'm not saying that. I don't know if there's more coming, but you've got to understand, like, that rain that happened was a one-off. It's not happened in the last 75 years. I'm not saying that we haven't seen storms in Dubai, because we have. We've seen storms in Dubai. Like, I grew up in Dubai. My father tells me about this one storm that, they woke up the next day and the trees were overturned, and this was in the 70s. And in the 80s and 90s, we saw storms. Nothing as bad as to the extent what you might see in, like, some of, like, some cities that you see in the US with cyclones, tornadoes coming up. So nothing like as bad as that. But, we saw some weather, and to be honest with you, it only rained for about 3 hours, right? Like, that concentrated heavy rain was only about 3 hours. The rest of the time it was pitter patter, pitter patter. It wasn't really that bad. And now what ended up happening was, the drainage system got flooded, and the water did not find way to leave the city or leave the roads, and so on and so forth. Now, you'd be surprised to know that there's news that went around that the Crown Prince had sanctioned and allowed an 80 billion dirham investment. That's $20 billion investment into upgrading the sewerage system and pipes and all of that. And you'd be surprised to know, and I was later told about this because even I shared that on my Instagram, that news was from last year. So a lot of people took that news as, wow, Dubai is amazing because, here came the storms and here we saw something, and it just took them one day to approve 80 billion dirhams, right? That's 20 billion, 20 into 3.67. Yeah, it's about $25 billion worth of upgradation to the city's infrastructure in terms of dealing with not floods, like rain, water, so on and so forth. Wow. Can you approve a budget? Like, I know in a business, a marketing budget worth 100,000 dirhams might not get approved in, like, a week. It might take a month, right? Like, you might have a couple of eyes looking over it. So how did they approve that? Well, they done that 1 year before. So that news is from 1 year ago. It's actually old news. So that goes to show to you how Dubai is, like, it's kind of like in advance looking at things, all right? So is the weather getting worse? I don't know, man. I've heard that, Pakistan's facing some extreme weather situations. There's some other countries that are facing some extreme weather. I'm not a weather expert, okay? So I can't comment. Like, if weather is getting bad everywhere. So I heard, like, in a Pakistani city called Chitral, the weather is bad and they've appealed to the government, please send in aid and emergency vehicles to get us out. It's snowing in the middle of April when it doesn't, April, I think, is when the snow starts melting. But here's the thing. If the weather is getting bad everywhere in the world, I'm not saying Dubai is the best place, but I would rather choose Dubai then. Like, during the pandemic, Dubai was the place to be at, right? Because Dubai handled it. You were not here. So Dubai handled the whole pandemic situation, the weird pandemic situation, much, much better, in a much more mature way, in a much more practical way, right? Like, so we had New Zealand, Australia, complete lockdown. You can't go out, you can't come in. Doesn't matter what. If you go out, there's a procedure. And if you go out, see you later. We're not letting you come in. China didn't open until 2022, I think. Ooh, or 2023. I think they didn't open up. Like you couldn't come in and go out. Like, and Dubai was like, you know, the middle ground. So let's say weather is getting bad everywhere. Where would you rather be? Where would you rather invest, right? And when will the draining system be installed? Zamad's telling me that that news is from 2016. Can we do quick research when that news was actually came out? The 80 billion dirham that the sewerage and the flood works was gonna get upgraded. Thank you, Zamad. If it was from 2016, alhamdulillah, even better, right? So I've already seen big barrels of pipes on the road. You asked me when the draining system is going to get installed. I don't know. I've already seen key areas work getting done. And by the way, you guys might not know this, but this Thursday that just passed, we had rain again. And Dubai was very prepared for that, alhamdulillah. Okay, so so I hope I answered your question, Imran. Let's go to some more questions. Any idea? So Aryan894 asks, any idea how to start the good career in Forex or Binance in Dubai? How is it? I have no idea. Sorry, I'm not an expert to be able to answer on Binance and crypto. Everybody who's joined in, thank you very much, guys, who's joining in. Hina, Ayan, Usman Rajput, Asif, Alex, see you in hell. Sid 3719. Just let me know, guys, if you guys got questions. I'm happy to answer right now any question that you might have about real estate. I'm very happy to answer. Okay. Everybody who's, I can see some questions over here. Okay, Ahmed Realtor asked, on the roofs? No, it isn't. This was back in 2000. Zamad, okay, last year. Okay, Zamad, thank you very much. Ahmed Realtor Dubai asks, Salam, I want to ask, is that how we can handle landlords for their property listing? What do you mean by handle landlords? You want to handle them? Like manhandle them? You want to push them around? Ahmed, there's a couple of things over here, okay? Think about it from the landlord's perspective, okay? I understand kind of your question, but tell me if I misanswer it, okay? What's the landlord's objective? So when you're talking about landlord, I think you're talking about renting, but let's even consider selling. What does a landlord or an owner who wants to sell an apartment or rent an apartment want to do? A landlord who wants to rent it at the best possible rent to the best possible tenant. What does that mean? If the market's at 290, he wants to rent at 300 or 290,000 dirhams. And the tenant he wants is a nice family that holds no parties, is quiet, pays the rent on time, is professional, will not give him a lot of grief. He wants a nice tenant. A seller wants the best possible market price at the best, in the best possible time, in the most efficient time. So understand what they want, okay? Now, उस तरफ देखें, so I'm going to speak a little Urdu. Ahmed, maybe you understand some Urdu. Now, if you try to understand on their perspective, they could be not motivated, not serious, not experienced, very experienced, right? So very experienced sellers know that a lot of agents will fib around. What do I mean by fib around? They don't know what they're talking about. They're going to tell them the price. They're going to say blah, 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 blah. So a very experienced seller knows that sometimes agents are not up to mark professionally and their knowledge expertise. Very young seller is not going to know all of that, but he's going to have 10 agents circling around him, telling him all sorts of stories, and he doesn't know what's what. Then on the seller side, sometimes he's motivated to sell, sometimes he's not motivated to sell, right? What do I mean by not motivated? Sometimes some guy thinks, yeah, you know what, I think the market's going up till 2027. I want to sell this property, but I don't want to sell it before I reach the maximum peak amount I can get. All of this is happening on the seller's side. So what does he want? If he's a real motivated seller, on a scale of 1 to 10, a 10. He wants to sell his property. Let's say he's a seller, but on a motivation scale, he's a 4. He's like, I don't know. Maybe I'll sell. Maybe. You've got to read this first. Understand what their objective is, and then understand where they are in terms of how and when they want to sell it. That's their side. Now you work on your side. Are you an expert in the area that you want to sell? Are you good? Are you presentable? Do you talk with clarity? If they ask you a question, can you answer a question? For example, if you don't have the information, can you get the information for them? So when you come and present yourself with this kind of expertise, the seller or the landlord who's trying to rent should have no choice but to consider working with you as one of their advisors, if not exclusive. But if you can't present to them your expertise, and by presenting, I mean, think about this, okay? I'm going to take a community, Arabian Ranches. If you've been working in Arabian Ranches for the last 10 years and you're an expert, but you can't communicate that expertise to them, that doesn't work. Like, if all you're going to do is say, hey, I'm working here for the last 10 years, but you come across as rude, you come across as not coming late, you come across as very arrogant, you come across as very unprofessional, you come across as, somebody who's not trustworthy, they're not going to want to work with you. All these skill sets, you've got to work on your side. Good communication. Be honest. I don't know, that's a basic, but gotta repeat it. They've got to think that you're trustworthy. Like, you don't know. Like, yesterday I got a call from somebody and they said, hey Fahd, like, there's a big asset, about 10 million dirhams, they need to sell this in Ajman. And he's like, I'm like, what's the difficulty? He's like, they don't even know that the pricing that the agents are quoting is actually correct, because they feel that the agents are lying to them. I'm like, yeah, well, okay. So let's say even you're not lying to them, you should be able to express to them good expertise. So grow your expertise level. So understand communication, sales skills, trustworthiness, professionalism. Hey man, show up there on time. Like, if you give them a time and say, I'll be there to look at your house at 2 p.m. on a Saturday, and you don't show up and you don't call them, so this is your side. Understand their side. When there's a match and a mix, you will get exclusive listings. I hope I was able to explain that to you, Ahmed. Yeah. How is commercial property off-plan investment? Good, I think. But every commercial, this is from Danish Sayed. How is commercial property off-plan investment? I think it's good. Wasim Khan on YouTube. Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Danish, you've got to look at commercial, generally good, but off-plan, I don't know what project you're referring to, so you've got to look at every single project on its own, right? Guys, welcome everybody who's joined in. Eagles, Bream, Ali Hussein, Vishal, Ibrahim, Shehzad, Ali Dupa, Ashik Qayyum, Tabsir Feroz, Private Driver, Rabiz, Ask Anwar, DXB, Rishan. Okay, Sanjay's got another question. What is this question? Hello, sir. Is there any chances if I can apply for a job being in India? Because probably for now it is not possible for me to travel to Dubai. Seeing my financial... Yeah, you can apply for a job from India. I can tell you, like most people, depending on what category, like, so if you're really high-end executive, which I don't think that you are because of how you're explaining your financial situation, people hire from anywhere in the world and they will pay for them to move here. But generally speaking, at the mid to lower end, people like to have people here so that they can actually interview them, talk to them, and then hire them. Hey, so somebody asks a question. Arshid Qasim. Assalamu alaikum, Fahd. Wa alaikum assalam. What's the difference between a property consultant and real estate agent in Dubai? Is a bachelor's degree mandatory requirement to write the RERA exam? No. Property consultant, property advisor, real estate agent, sales manager, relationship manager, sales director, vice president, CEO, managing director, chairman. If they're working in real estate, it's pretty much sometimes they're working as a real estate agent, as a realtor. The names are different because people like to call themselves differently because people are different, right? So one guy doesn't like the word real estate agent because agent carries a lot of negative connotations. So he calls himself a real estate consultant. The other guy doesn't like the word real estate consultant. So he might call himself a real estate specialist. The other guy doesn't like the word real estate specialist. So he calls himself a real estate advisor, so on and so forth. The actual value is behind what they're calling themselves. The actual value is who they are, what they're promoting, what they're selling. Okay. Let's take some questions. Hey, so some people have asked questions online, which is what we do. Arshad, so I hope I answered your question, and you don't need a bachelor's degree to write your RERA exam. I think the only requirement was a 10th degree, 10 degree to get your RERA, but I don't think there is a requirement to do to write that RERA exam. Okay, so good. Hi, I'm an international student who's studying in Canada. I want to. So this is a question from Mining Nation 8014. Yes, Zamad, also broker, all the same. Broker in Dubai, it's the same. Broker is not the same in Canada. Okay, a broker on record is different. Yeah, in Canada, it's slightly different in Canada. Okay, you're welcome, Arshad. Guys, again, you guys got questions, please ask. Okay, don't haggle around. Don't think that I might not answer. I'll pick your question up and I'll answer. So before we end now, I want to quickly answer some questions. There's this gentleman from Mining Nation, studying in Canada, and he wants to start a career as an owners association community manager. Background about him: my family works and lives in Dubai. Okay, good. Listen. The short answer to you, Mining Nation, is yes, you can start working as a owners association community manager. I don't think that's going to be very difficult. I think what you should do is, once you're here, start applying for these jobs. And I don't know that a lot of people are working in owners associations as career choices, but if you're looking at it as a career choice, that's quite interesting. And I think that they would I think a lot of owners associations might not have that. I've met some people who were facilities managers experts and they know how to manage facilities, but owners associations as a community manager, that's great. I think that's a great thing. And if you coming in with objective qualifications from Canada or anywhere, I think it's going to be very good. So you should come here and apply, and you might get a chance. V Mahastra asks, hello, Fahd, insightful. Any thoughts on Liberty House and DIFC as an investment option? Also, DIFC in general for rental yields and capital appreciation. So, yes, I can give you some advice on this. And I got to tell you one thing, something that you really need to know. DIFC operates on their own laws, okay? DIFC does not have, Dubai Land Department does not have jurisdiction over Dubai International Financial Center, its assets, its real estate, so on and so forth. So much so that the Dubai Land Department transfer fees is 4% from property to property. The DIFC transfer fees is 5%. I think they keep it like that because they keep it like that, whatever it is. Liberty House, I've had some experience with it in 2015, 2016. This was 9-10 years ago when I sold a 3-bedroom or a 2-bedroom duplex over there. And I can tell you, to be honest with you, the property in terms of the building was, if I was to give it a grade at that time, okay, 10 years ago, it might have changed right now, was not in the best condition, okay? It was not being handled and managed the best way possible. With regards to the location in DIFC, close to the metro station, close to downtown, it's superb, amazing. Regards to security, concierge service, everything. DIFC at the end of the day has its own vibe, right? It's got its own thing going on, right? So with regards to all of that, it's premium. But just as a building on its own, you've got to visit it. I've seen that the building was perhaps not being maintained to the absolute top standard. That's what I felt at that time. That's probably maybe changed by now, right? Okay, so you got to look at it from that perspective and then consider it. Otherwise, I think it's a very good place. So somebody's saying my second home, Abu Bakr M9789. My second home is Dubai. Since I lived and worked 1974 up to 2009. Nice, man. That's a long time. So 84, 94, 2004, almost 35 years. Good. After I used to short visit Dubai, I've seen the rise of Dubai and other Emirates drastically amazing. Yeah, that's true. Dubai has changed magnificently. But 2009 as well post, if you're still visiting, then you can still see Dubai is still continuing to change, right? All right, guys. I've got another question over here. Zamad says Canadian term is more realtor. Yes, in Canada, I think they use realtor as well, and agent as well, right? So, what's the difference Somebody asked, what's the difference between PPA and SPA? I think PPA is called the property purchase agreement, and SPA is the sales and purchase agreement. I've got to look at this because this has just recently been introduced by some people, and I've got like some developers, and I've got to look at exactly what this is. Okay, so I can't answer right now. Zamadi asks, talk about why Aldous Athlon is a good investment option if it is. Look, just to let you know, Aldar, coming from Abu Dhabi, I'm sure that they're going to deliver a very good master community in Dubai because they've already done a lot of work in Abu Dhabi. So I think they'll do a good job in Dubai. When it comes to the location, it's a good location. It's a very good location. It's close to, I believe it's close to Oasis, where not Oasis. I think it's I gotta double check the location because I haven't really studied this project yet. Okay, but it's a good location from what I've heard. If my memory serves correctly, it's closer to IMG or it's closer to Oasis Emaar project. It's a good location nonetheless. Actually, let's have a quick look so that I can actually answer you guys in a better way. Because I just remembered, I think it's been moved to, not moved, I think it's more like on the Dubai Land Road, right? Is it? Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. Yeah, it's close to where they launched their last villas. This location's coming up, guys. They're very close to Global Village, very close to IMG. This location is, I think, going to be the next hot location, in my opinion. So locations, I can't even mention it's a strategic location. It's in the middle of Dubai. Like, really, it is in Dubai. It's not very far out from the center of Dubai, so it's a good location. Sustainable approach towards housing. I don't know about this. I've got to really look at it. Between ranches, 3 and acres. Yes, thank you very much, Samad. So between ranches, 3 and acres. Yeah, it's a good location. There's nothing to talk about the location. And the airport is coming by out there. Airport's not there. Airport's really a little bit further out towards Dubai Investment Park, Emaar South, and towards Expo City. But yes, on a whole, over the next 10 years, right? That entire place is going to get tons of communities getting delivered. And then as the airport moves to the new development, it'll just make sense that these communities will, it'll be like, no longer do you have to go to the Dubai International Airport. You'll be able to go there much faster. All right, guys, look, I'm going to be ending now. Thank you for everybody who's joined in. Arshad asks the last question. Do you recommend specializing in one area for the second one? Would you prefer secondary, off-plan, or both? Sorry? Yeah, Arshad, yeah, look, if you're starting out, I would recommend, yes, fine. You could specialize in one area, but here's the thing. Like, don't be a person, in my opinion, this is my opinion, don't be a person who knows only about one area. This is my opinion, guys. Like, if you specialize in Arabian ranches, the main one, you're gonna have to touch Arabian Ranches 2 and Arabian Ranches 3. Why? Or Damac Hills. Why? Because if your people come in to talk to you about Arabian Ranches 1, you should be able to justify why it's better than Damac Hills. Let's just understand that, right? That's one way of looking at it. Number 2, this has happened in Dubai. Like, everybody who used to focus and specialize only in one area at one stage, like for instance, if you were in Arabian Ranches, okay, if you were in Arabian Ranches and you were like the granddaddy for the last 10 years, and let's say that Arabian Ranches had at any time about 700 agents specializing, right? All of a sudden, what would happen is, now that 700 has gone up to 3,500 agents, like, The young, the old, the good, the bad, the everything, right? And yes, now you're the expert, so you're still the granddaddy, but you've got all these young agents chipping away, right? And if you're just an Arabian Ranches expert, what about all these new communities that are coming up, like Athlon or Imar South? Like, are you just going to completely turn a blind eye to that? Like, because there's only so much business that you're going to be able to generate from one only place. Like, it's kind of like thinking, it's kind of like you could specialize in villas. So I'm not saying you got to go apartments all of a sudden, but at least have other things available, if you just be like, oh, I'm just doing Arabian Ranches, villas, and townhouses, I don't do nothing else. Fine, that's your prerogative, and I don't mind. It's okay. Sometimes it works with you guys. It's okay. But my suggestion is be a little bit more wider, right? Okay, Samad. Okay, I appreciate. Yeah. Al-Sur asks, in what area are you in specialist? So we specialize. How can I say this? We specialize in humans. We specialize in helping people or our clients with their needs, their investment requirements, their divestment requirements. We handle humans. We're not here just selling their property. Like, I'd love to just be able to say that maybe, but we're not. We're solving a problem. Because anybody who comes to us to sell a property has many other reasons attached to why they're selling a property. Anybody who comes to us why they're buying a property has many other reasons why they're buying a property. And we focus on those reasons and solving those reasons. Thereby, it might be getting them a property, selling them their property as well. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you very much. I appreciate Al-Sur. I hope I answered your question as well. Everybody who joined in on Instagram and otherwise, thank you very much. I see you guys later. If you guys got questions, you can always send them in advance to me and I will answer them during our live. Thank you very much. Goodbye for now.